Now we're staying on Tamil Nadu, but moving on to another big story. Violence has broken out near Tamil Nadu's Kallakurichi as protesters were demanding justice over the death of a girl student. The 12th standard girl allegedly died by suicide. She'd leveled allegations of torture committed by her teachers. According to police officials, there was a note written by the girl. In it, she said 2 teachers from the school tortured her by forcing her to study all the time. The teachers have denied the allegations, and the parents and other relatives of the student have blocked the Kallai-Kurichi-Salem highway on Wednesday, raising slogans against the school management.
School girl died under the natural situations, and we have registered a case and we are investigating. And a small group of people came for protest, so therefore we made a elaborate arrangement. And instead of protesting, they started attacking the school, and to safeguard the school only, our policemen completely tried to protect, but then they did not stop. Therefore, we had to give a lathi charge. We have now rushed extra police officers and policemen there. Around 100 men, 500 people are going there to bring the situation under control.
Now we're joined by our correspondent Purnima Murali with more on this. Purnima, the protests have been going on since Tuesday, which was when that unfortunate demise of the girl took place, intensified today after the autopsy report. But is the situation under control? Buses have been set on fire, 15 buses, 3 police vehicles, and earlier you were telling us that the protests have intensified outside the girls' school, which is near Chinnasalem. Purnima, what is the situation currently on ground there? You were telling us earlier that the protests have intensified outside the girls' school, which is in Chinnasalem. This is because the autopsy report came out today. It said she had multiple brain hemorrhaging and multiple injuries as well. And the police and her kin have rejected that autopsy report, saying it's fake.
Tense situation continues at outside the school gates. Remember, violence did erupt, but police are trying hard to control the situation. Protesters demand the justice for the 12th grade student. However, they say that despite finding a note that in fact alleged that 2 teachers are responsible for her death, they still have not arrested them. That's what protesters have been saying. The family, the relatives, they claim that there's no fair investigation done in this case, and that even the postmortem report merely mentions that she died because of brain hemorrhage. But they want the postmortem to be done yet again and should be recorded so that it's fair and transparent for the public. And they say that till justice prevails, the protests will continue. Tense situation there. Remember, 15 vehicles were set on fire, and there were incidents of stone pelting also reported in Kallakurichi. But at the moment, even now, tense situation still continues outside the school gate, where there's heavy police deployment at the moment.
Well, yes, indeed, Purnima, standoff continuing. Stalin there has asked the Home Secretary and the DGP to rush to the spot, and he has appealed for peace. Now, taking a look at the presidential elections. Tomorrow's the D-Day. July 18th is when the presidential elections will take place, and a day ahead of it, a political war of words has erupted. Opposition's presidential candidate, Yashwant Sinha, wrote a letter to all the members and lashed out at his opponent, Draupadi Murmu. In the letter, he has said that Murmu would just be a rubber stand protecting the Prime Minister. RJD's Tejasvi Yadav has also levelled his own criticism at the NDA's presidential candidate, saying that Rashtrapati Bhavan needs a president and not a statue. He went on to say that people have never heard Murmu utter a single word.
हम लोगों को राष्ट्रपति भवन में कोई मूर्ति तो नहीं चाहिए, हम लोग राष्ट्रपति का चुनाव। आपने कभी यशवंत सिन्हा जी को तो हर जगह आपने सुना होगा, लेकिन जो सत्ता पक्ष से जो उम्मीदवार दी गई, हालांकि छोटी मुंह बड़ी बात बोलनी नहीं चाहिए, लेकिन हमने कभी नहीं सुना और हमको नहीं लगता कि आप लोगों ने भी उनकी आवाज़ को सुना होगा। एक भी प्रेस वार्ता जब से उम्मीदवार बनी है, एक भी प्रेस वार्ता नहीं किया।
All right, so there you have Yashwant Sinha alleging that Draupadi Murmu will not be able to protect the constitution. So there's some very strong words coming in from him. BJP on their side have not taken kindly to any criticism of Draupadi Murmu. They call it criticizing the entire tribal community and women in general. Whereas Yashwant Sinha has gone on to say that Draupadi Murmu has served as a governor of Jharkhand for about 6 years, but has asked what was the kind of development that she did in the territory, that in fact she's actually had no impact, and that she's going to have no impact on national politics as well, and that she's just going to be a puppet in the hands of the BJP. Now we have to wait to see what BJP will say, but in the meantime Congress allies have also ditched Congress and have all said they're going to be voting for BJP's candidate, which is Draupadi Murmu. Tomorrow is when the presidential polls will take place. And so far, we know that the JMM, of course, are from Jharkhand. They were expected to support Draupadi Murmu, and they've gone ahead and do it. Surprisingly, even Shiv Sena earlier this week had said that they will be supporting Draupadi Murmu for that top post. So the Congress there definitely feeling betrayed by its allies. But if you take a look at Yashwant Sinha, who definitely does not have the numbers, but he's still, he's not giving up. He is going ahead with that fight. I'm taking that question across to Kamalika Sengupta, who joins us on the phone. Kamalika, the numbers are almost decided. The NDA has the numbers. Draupadi Murmu is all set to become India's first tribal president, a woman from the tribal community to represent them on that high chair. But criticism continues to come in from the opposition, saying this is the BJP just trying to do vote bank politics and doesn't actually want anybody from that community or a woman to be speaking up.
What the stand of Yashwant Sinha is, and also if you see, Trinamool Congress is also putting up this point that though they have put forward a tribal woman as president, but as far as Ayodhya is concerned, or as far as the emblem inversion was concerned, there it was Prime Minister who did it. That categorically, time and again, TMC also has mentioned. But the point is that the letter which Yashwant Sinha has written today, there it is clear that he is trying to say that it is ideological fight. It is fight against the democracy and undemocratic means. So it is basically a fight of the morals, because obviously tribal vote bank, Dalit vote bank, and woman Dalit president is something which is which has created a very different political ripples in obviously the opposition circle. So obviously the Yashwant Sinha in his letter, in his 2-page letter, has categorically mentioned that the way the fight is not between, the fight is not about numbers, but the fight is on ideology.
Well, yes, indeed. All right. Now, staying on the presidential polls, we have some breaking news coming in.